Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show on WBC Talk Radio, the number one talk radio station in these United States of America. And thanks for listening to WBC or those on other affiliates. Very pleased to have you. My next guest is Lisa Nelson, who is the CEO of ALEC, which is a group that represents thousands of state legislators around the country who are conservative in their orientation and has been a leader on all sorts of issues, from fiscal issues to education issues to crime prevention and others. So, Lisa, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, Steve, and happy Saturday.
You too. So let's, we'll tell people about ALEC, because many people have probably never heard of ALEC, and most people probably have, but tell us what you do and how you have an impact.
Well, thanks for that opportunity. ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, is a 51-year-old organization founded back when Ronald Reagan was president in an attempt to start to build a network of philosophically conservative state legislators to support what was Reagan's agenda back then. And I say philosophically because we are a C3. We welcome Democrats and Republicans, but the makeup of our organization now primarily is those Republicans who love to promote limited government, free markets, and federalism, which is state rights. So for us, those three tenets have been kind of the pillars of strength for now 51 years. We develop policy working with state legislators and with the private sector that helps to support business and helps to grow jobs, grow the economy, try to encourage innovation and new ways of looking at things. So, our organization is traditionally led by legislators that see good things from one state, learn from a legislator in another state, and want to bring that successful model policy back to their state. So it's a great collaboration. One thing I love about ALEC and being the CEO is getting to work with people like you at the Committee to Unleash Prosperity and with our other friends in the movement. But it's just been a great organization that has helped a lot of state and local legislators across the country as they try to promote good policy.
So let's talk about the one. By the way, just for full disclosure, I work with ALEC on something that comes out every year. I think we've done it for 17 years, which is called Rich States, Poor States, which is a analysis of the top 50 states in terms of their economic outlook and the best and the worst. And by the way, I think, Lisa, that New York and New Jersey come out consistently in the bottom 3 or 4 of the states. So a lot of work to be done there.
They do. And in fact, New York was 50th this year, this last ranking for the second year in a row. And something that, obviously we want to work with our legislators up in Albany on that. But the tough thing is you've got a governor who doesn't have any interest in that. But we've been doing that report now 17 years. We partner with Dr. Arthur Laffer and Steve Moore, as you said, and Jonathan Williams that works at ALEC. And it's a great way of comparing and contrasting what policies work and what policies don't. So, somebody said something really interesting. We know that people walk with their feet out of one state into another because of economic issues. The interesting thing is that there's lots of other issues that they're looking at now. So the economic issues are a lot more. It's a bright line on your taxes, on your property taxes, on your sales taxes, everything else. But now they're also looking at, what's going on in my state with respect to education? What's going on in my state with respect to pricing and gas prices and things like that. So those kind of comparisons and our Rich States, Poor States book have become kind of a manual for legislators on what to do right. And then, of course, for those bottom states, what they're doing wrong.
So let's get into some exciting news that happened this week, which is that we had, I think, the 12th or 13th state now that has adopted a school choice measure that gives parents, maximum choice in terms of where their kids are able to go to school. I know this is something that's controversial to some of my more liberal friends, but this is a real trend around the country. I think it was Louisiana is the latest addition to the school choice states.
Well, that's exactly right. It's been a very good week for school choice. Louisiana just the night before last ended up passing their universal bill, making them the 12th state. So if you think about this started 3 years ago with West Virginia. And West Virginia passed a universal Hope scholarship that was universal education and the money following the student first. And then Arizona very quickly followed suit. Governor Ducey had been working on it for the entire time he was in office and finally got it done in his last year, which was fabulous. And it's a comprehensive bill as well. And then, of course, right behind them was Iowa, and now we've got 12 states, including Florida and North Carolina and Utah and Indiana and Ohio and Oklahoma. So it's an exciting idea that essentially, we've talked about it, it's the civil rights issue of the 21st century because it is really trying to say this money is your money. You're spending, you as a family and you as an individual parent are spending money, paying taxes. Why wouldn't you be able to take a portion of that money and use it to make a choice around your school? And so that's what's happening. I think everybody had kind of a front row seat during COVID to what was going on in the schools. And I think parents are now taking a much more active role in their children's education, which how can you be against that? I think it's a great thing to have happen. And I love seeing it.
So, you make a great point about this being the civil rights issue of our time because it's tragic, but the kids that are most victimized by poor public schools, especially in the inner cities, are minorities, whether they're Hispanic or Black or Asian. And those schools, I mean, I'm from Chicago, as you know, you've got 20 schools in Chicago where not a single child is at grade level proficiency in reading or math. And maybe we should shut those schools down if they're completely failing every child and providing other alternatives to those parents.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I am a public school person. I went to UC Berkeley after going to public high school and K through 12. Right. I am not anti-public schools, and this is not an anti-public school effort in any shape or way. But if what it means when you have choice and when you have something that you can compare and have a competition, if what that means is that those public schools need to work a little harder to provide a better education for those kids, that's probably a good outcome. So
it's called competition.
Exactly. And, that old phrase, iron sharpens iron. I do think that if you've got a really good school right around the corner, and you just moved into a neighborhood and you say, this is why I moved here, was for that school. Clearly that's a choice you've made. You choose where you move. But if you don't have as much money and you can't make that choice and you're stuck, as you say, in a school that maybe hasn't been working hard or isn't getting people to be proficient in their reading and writing, what better opportunity for those single parents or those folks who are in a different district to be able to look for a school that might provide a better education. And that doesn't even mention the fact that some kids just learn differently. There might be schools that are more musically inclined. There might be schools that are more science and math inclined. We've got schools where I live that are focus on foreign languages and international schools. So I think every student and anyone who has more than one child knows that their kids are very different people. Nature versus nurture, or what the school brings and provides to you. But I think the most important thing is for parents to feel empowered and to feel like they've got the ability to help their child get better educated and have a better learning experience.
That's for sure. Well, you're right that even if, we're successful in getting school choice in every state, and I know that's one of our missions at ALEC, you're still going to have 70% of the kids that are going into the public schools. So one of the reasons I've always favored this is the competition effect of having, to compete for the kids is a way to make sure that the the performance improves. What's the old saying from the auto insurance? When companies have to compete, consumers win. And I think that's probably true with schools as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've got this effort, and we're working with your organization and with a lot of other people in the movement to try to get 25 states by next year, the year 2025. Wow. We talked about this being a great week for education choice because of Louisiana. But another really interesting development was what happened down in Texas with the primary results.
Yes. Yes. And so tell people quick. We've only got about 2 minutes left, but tell people what happened there.
Okay. The governors that are interested in this issue are almost taking it as a point of pride to get it done in their states. And right. Governor Abbott down in Texas announced at the very beginning of the year that this is going to be a priority for him. And he pushed and tried and prodded and tried to get his legislature to do it. And there were 21 legislators that would not vote for the education choice that Senator Brandon Creighton put forward. And what happened, and it's fascinating, this last Tuesday, the primary results kind of played themselves out. There was an election about 6 weeks ago, and then there was runoffs this last Tuesday. And of those 21 people that had voted against the education, I think it was 17 of them lost their primary to people who are committed to supporting school choice.
That's great news.
So I think that Governor Abbott will maybe make this, HR 1 or SB 1 for 2025, right. And get education freedom across the finish line.
Well, this is a big deal because Texas is, the second biggest state in the country right now, right? And you're talking about potentially millions of kids that will have
Absolutely.
New opportunities. Love that story, Lisa. Thank you to ALEC. And that's, by the way, Lisa Nelson, who's the president of ALEC and has done an amazing job there. Appreciate your update on this. What last, just on the way out, what are the few states that are next in your target range to try to get this over the hump?
Well, we're really excited, obviously, about Texas. I would put Wyoming at the top of the list, North Dakota, Tennessee. The governor in Tennessee wants to get it across, and he announced a couple weeks ago before they went out for session that he would bring it back up next year. And then a biggie is Pennsylvania. We're really eager, and there's a Democrat governor there who said that he wanted to sign a bill. So we're eager to deliver him a bill and get the Pennsylvania legislators educated enough so that they can do something.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Great analysis, great work in getting this done and helping potentially millions of kids get a better education. That's Lisa Nelson, the head of ALEC. And folks, this is WABC Radio. We'll be right back.